sponsoring today's episode of Tuesdays with Ted. My name is Floyd Poenitz, president of Seventh-day Adventist Kinship International, the organization, a safe space, affirming space for current and former Adventists who identify as LGBTQIA+, their families and their friends. And each Tuesday I create a video wanting to create some dialogue with President of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Ted N.C. Wilson. So Ted, hope you're doing great, and I invite everyone else to just listen along and participate. You can always place your comments below in the notes, and I look forward to reading them. As always, grab yourself a drink, put me on pause for a minute, grab yourself a drink, and let's talk. Today I have hot chocolate with some homemade almond milk in there, and so hopefully it doesn't tickle my throat because it's not quite as refined as the almond milk, but much healthier than the almond milk that you buy in the grocery stores. So if I have to cough, please forgive me for that. But anyway, so grab yourself a drink and come back and let's talk. I wanted to start off with this little sound clip, and hopefully you guys can hear it as I play it. Yeah, so Aretha, hopefully I don't get in trouble for playing a small clip of Aretha Franklin there. But R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, let's talk here, Ted. Often you, in your videos and your sermons, you talk about we need to be compassionate, we need to love everyone, and then you go into a tirade against LGBTQIA+ people. And somehow we don't feel that much respect or love or understanding or compassion when you say those words. There's a give love, comma, but blah, blah, blah. You're going to hell anyway. And somehow that just doesn't feel like respect. So that's what the whole point of these videos is about, is actually talking and learning what it means to be a homosexual, a gay Adventist person. And hopefully you're listening to these and learning something. I just wanted to share, this weekend I had the privilege, the blessing, truly a blessing to take part in a summit that was held at La Sierra University in Riverside, California, called Just Love Collective. It was the Just Love Summit. Justice and love were the theme things being talked about there. And it was so empowering, so good feeling. It brought back that warm fuzzy of being an Adventist in a group of several hundred people, of being wanted, being a part of the community, feeling seen, feeling heard and understood. And if they didn't, they came and talked to me and asked me questions. It was really wonderful. It was way too short. It was Friday and then all day Sabbath, and we talked about ethnicities, genders, sexual orientations, just civil rights, treating another person as a human being rather than calling them a sin for the color of their skin or the culture that they came from or their sexual orientation or their gender. I can't find enough words to talk about how wonderful this thing is. And if you haven't heard of it, Ted, and everyone else listening, you need to go to justlovecollective.org and there check it out. There's an online magazine there. It talks about the different organizations and groups that it caters to and talks about and tries to have justice and love towards. SDA Kinship was there. We had a place at the table. We had a table at the event. Spectrum was there, Adventist Peace Fellowship was there, Religious Liberty was there. There were several groups there that were working to make Adventism a better place, a safer place. The presentations brought me to tears, many of them, just hearing people's stories. And so, Ted, I hope that you will take that to heart. And, life is more than, I love Ellen White, but life is more than just Ellen White quotes, some of them taken out of context, Bible quotes taken out of context to condemn people. So I feel that the church is not the General Conference. The General Conference is pretty irrelevant to the average Adventist, making rules and statements and things like that really have no effect on the life of the average Adventist. So, like I said, it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience being in this group of people, hearing these scholarly minds of pastors, professors, scholars from all over the world, actually. Australia was represented there. There were people originally from Africa, from the Caribbean, from everywhere. It was just a wonderful, wonderful blend of loving Jesus and working towards justice for our fellow humans. So, if you haven't heard about that, please check it out and get involved, get participating in this group. Also, I wanted to share something that maybe some of you don't know about, and well, I think everybody knows the story of Philip baptizing the eunuch, and it's a story we learn from Sabbath school early days onward. But I got something in the mail today, and it reminded me of this story, and I want to share it with you, Ted, and everyone else listening. That eunuch was a queer black man, and he was welcomed as an early Christian convert in those biblical times. And he was a triple outsider, which kind of ties in with this conference that we just had. He was a triple outsider. He was a gender variant foreigner from a racial minority. And his story shows that the early Christians welcomed all kinds of outcasts. His experiences may have led him to the Bible prophecies, reading about the suffering servant, which he was reading when Philip met him. And the term translated as eunuch included a variety of sexual minorities that today might be called queer or LGBT. The LGBTQ acronym is a fairly new one. It wasn't even around several decades ago when I was growing up or when I was a young person. Gay was just barely being talked about. So being queer was not understood at all, even 50 years ago. And yet, in the Bible times, in the New Testament, this eunuch would have been a queer person. But not just a queer person, he was also a foreigner in a land, and he was from a racial minority. The story of how bear with me here as I read some of this here. The story of how the Ethiopian eunuch was converted and baptized by Philip the evangelist is told in Acts 8:26-40, in case you want to look it up and read it for yourself. And remember here, this is Philip the deacon or the evangelist, not Philip the apostle. And I know I was confused with that for many years growing up. I didn't realize that there were several Philips or that many Philips, and I thought this might have been Philip the apostle that was with Jesus. But this was Philip the deacon, the evangelist, and he's the one who baptized the eunuch. Let's see here. In the Bible, the Ethiopian eunuch is nameless, resulting in an astonishing array of distinct names bestowed by different traditions to fill the void. 2nd century Saint Irenaeus wrote about him as Simeon Bacchus, the eunuch and said that he was sent to Ethiopia to preach. And in African traditions, Greek traditions, Russian Orthodox, and others, he's all given a name um, that is not necessarily listed in the New Testament, but he's given a name. And so he was a very special person as being one of the first converts. And yeah, here, in contemporary usage, a eunuch is a castrated man, but it had a broader definition in ancient times. Biblical eunuchs can stand for all sexual minorities, literally meaning the keepers of the bed. The eunuchs served and guarded the women in the royal palace and wealthy households. Their employers wanted to be certain that the eunuchs would not get sexually involved with the women that they were supposed to protect, so many eunuchs were castrated men, homosexual men, and intersex folk. Many, but not all, were both castrated and homosexual. So there was no fear of them taking advantage and polluting the blood, the genetic lines of the woman that they were commissioned to take care of. They were highly trusted officials who often rose to senior posts in government during biblical times. It's a stark contrast to how homosexuals were considered security risks and fired from the U.S. government jobs during the lavender scare of the mid-20th century Cold War era. That was based on the idea that gays and lesbians were susceptible to blackmail because they led closeted double lives. But eunuchs apparently lived openly as eunuchs in the Bible. And that was something I want to touch on. As long as the church requires us to live closeted lives where people really don't know us and don't know the true identity of who we are, there is going to be mistrust. And, the eunuchs thrived and flourished during biblical times when they were open as homosexual, as castrated men, as having a particular job. They were very trusted. They were highly revered. And today, the Adventist Church makes LGBTQ people, tries to get them to cower and not be who they are. And Ted, your words play directly into that mindset of fear and not wanting to be genuine. So, yeah, I hope that we strive more to be like the early church, Ted, in being open, being able to talk about things like that. Another good book that addresses the topic of eunuchs, and I wanted to bring out, is this book that's been around now for a year or two, or maybe three, and it's called The Bible and LGBTQ Adventists, a theological conversation about same-sex marriage, gender, and identity, by Pastor Alicia Johnston. And if you haven't already gotten this book, it's a must-read for any Adventist who really wants to know things about LGBTQ Adventist and from the LGBTQ Adventist in an affirming and biblically conservative mindset and belief system. You can buy the book. Go to Amazon, check for Alicia Johnston with a T, or just simply Google the Bible and LGBTQ Adventist, and you'll find it there. If you can't find it, you can always email me and let me know. But we need these safe spaces. I wanted to give a shout out to, I saw a lot of great friends there at the Just Love Summit. I want to give a shout out to my friend Rob, who came by and took some time out from his busy afternoon to come by and chat with me. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and I think he watches this video series. So I want to give a special shout out to Rob and say thanks for visiting with me. That meant a lot to see you again and to just chat with you and catch up with life. Life is made up of those small moments where you can connect with friends, people you identify with. And that should be a feeling that we have every Sabbath morning when we go to church, and feel that we look forward to fellowshipping with our fellow Adventist Christians and not having to hide and be careful of the words we say, not changing the identity or the gender of our spouse if it's a male spouse to she, and calling her a different name, calling him a different name, a female name, just to cover up, like so many of us have to do. We get really good at lying, and that was what took a toll on me and made me come out and live my true, genuine orientation as a gay male, cisgender, so homosexual, white, privileged male, going gray, old, but I love being able to be my true, genuine self, and I can't be that in most Adventist churches that I go to. And Ted, that's what I'd like to talk with you about. I love making these videos, but I'd love to also be able to stop making them because you've reached out, and I hold this olive branch out to you, hoping that you will take that olive branch and let's build a bridge together to make life easier for our queer brothers and sisters around the world. I think I mentioned last time, we have members in 111 countries, and those are just the ones we know about. I'm sure there are many other countries or all countries where we have queer Adventists. Wherever there's an Adventist, wherever there's more than 2 or 3 Adventists, there's also a queer Adventist in the group. And it's nothing that we've chosen. You don't select who your parents are. You don't select your orientation. But you can select what you do with your belief, your journey, and make it a good one. So that's all I had today. I hope you will check out justlovecollective.org, buy this book from Alicia, and let's talk about it. Maybe we'll do some more episodes later on some of the chapters in here. But there is a chapter about the eunuch and the baptizing the eunuch, so be sure and check that out. I was going to see if I could quickly see the table of contents to see which chapter or where it's talked about. I'm not going to waste your time, but it's in here, and let's talk some more. In the meantime, if you're not a part of SDA Kinship or just need to check us out, we'd love for you to join with us. The voices are louder when there are more voices there. So go to sdakinship.org and fill out the little form. It says become a member. Click on that and become a member. Let's wear our paraphernalia to let others know that we are safe and that they can trust us and talk to us about themselves and just share openly and just feel safe and affirmed. Email me, info@sdakinship.org if you have any questions. And I hope that you all have a great, great week coming up. Mother's Day in America is coming up, so be sure and send your mom a hug, some flowers, at least a card or a phone call, and let her know that no matter what, she's loved unconditionally, even if she doesn't understand you or that she rejects you. We can return that love back to her anyway. Ted, you have a great Mother's Day, and I look forward to seeing everyone next week at the same time, same channel on Tuesdays, and enjoy Tuesdays with Ted. Go back and read or listen to some of the previous videos if you've missed some, and remember that God loves you unconditionally, and SDA Kinship is here to create a safe space for current and former Adventists where you can truly be yourself. Take care. See you soon. Bye.